As we approach the end of the year and increase holiday travel, millions of Americans will be packing their carry-ons and moving around the country, even if they have to finance their travel on credit. For the past 5 years, holiday travel has been on the rise, and travel experts say there is no indication that this will slow down anytime soon. Dodging the travel bug. Today's guest, David Foreman, a retired pharmacist, author and radio host of the syndicated show, The Herbal Pharmacist. Well, it's good to have you back again, but somehow we got our schedule mixed up because we're going to talk about healthy travel, and I'm not healthy, but it's okay.
It's my fault that I'm late. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Because I know that we have this thing. I know you think that I blow you off and I don't come here enough, but that's not what happened this time.
But it wouldn't be my fault.
I'm really sorry that you're not feeling well.
I'm feeling good enough to get through this.
That's cool. You're what I always say, you're plowing through, right? Show must go on. That's probably a dorky one to say, but.
Well, tell me now. We talk about, on the serious side, air travel. Is air travel worse, especially this time of year, than none?
I think that, and I live on airplanes. I guess let's start this out by the subject of air travel. I live, eat, breathe, and sleep it because not only do I do programs like this, but I do this kind of stuff all over the United States. I even do some international speaking. So I live on those little cylinders that go flying through the sky. And I would have to say that combining my experience and just the knowledge of my medical background, that this is probably the worst time of the year from fall until spring. What we call the normal cold and flu season, I think air travel is worse for getting sick because there are more sick people this time of the year anyway getting on a plane, and so I think you're a lot more likely to get sick.
What about this time of the year? You're going from city A to city B, but you have to change planes in another city, and then it's snowing where your plane that you're going to transfer to is coming from. You don't get on. What about the frustrations of flying this time of year, or doing anything this time of year, and does that affect your health at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you bring that up because nobody ever does, and I always forget to even talk about it. And luckily, with this program, we have time to get into that stuff. But stress is one of the and what we eat really do play a huge role in our immune function. I mean, I know personally, just my own thing is when I get stressed out about something, I'm more likely to get sick, and I have to be really careful to do all the right things outside of my stress level. So yeah, I definitely feel like delays in air traffic control, especially people that aren't used to it. Like I had a problem I came back from Arizona on Monday, and my flights were all messed up. And actually, I got to the point where I got a little ticked off at the airline because they made a mistake, not me. It didn't affect everybody, it affected me because I was supposed to be on an earlier flight and they forgot to put me on it. So I'm used to it, but the people that aren't used to delays and de-icing of a plane, and maybe it's a little bumpier in the air, so that stresses people out. Those types of things definitely can, that stress will bog down your immune system as well.
I know sometimes you travel internationally. Ebola. What's happening with that now? For a moment, everyone was upset. We want to lock the borders.
Yeah,
we
right.
want to.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny, but it is to me.
Not accept airplanes coming from certain continents, not doing this, not doing that.
Right.
And we don't hear about it anymore.
Well, I think what happened was, we never really had to deal with it here in the United States. So we were never educated on what Ebola really was, how it was transmitted. And so everybody the media, I hate to blame the media, and we're part of the media in what we do, kind of jumped the gun on just spreading this panic. And it's funny, because not funny, but more like amusing, in that I ended up trying to help set people straight. Here we are talking about holiday travel and travel through maybe the spring, and people were like, I had a friend of mine say, "Oh, I'm not going to go visit my mother in New York because I'm afraid of getting Ebola." And I said, you really we needed to understand, how do you get Ebola, first of all? I understand quarantining planes or checking out planes that are coming from the areas that are really riddled with Ebola. I get that. That makes sense. But for you to judge me because I came back from Australia 4 weeks ago and was on a plane that long, knowing how Ebola is transmitted is critical. If I have not come in contact with the fluid that came from the person that had it, you're not going to get it from they coughed or sneezed near you. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way. So we were uneducated, and we had a panic because, oh my gosh, for the first time ever, we're bringing someone here with Ebola. We need to be more concerned right now with people getting the flu. More people die every year in the United States from the flu than I think internationally from Ebola. So, I'm talking globally. So we need to be more concerned about not getting the flu and staying healthy from that, and not be freaking out about the Ebola thing. Sorry, I went off.
No, that's okay.
You know me.
Bacteria and viruses.
Mm-hmm.
How does travel affect that? What's worse?
It really depends on what bacteria and what virus. And I'm not trying to avoid your question, but your body's equipped to really handle both naturally. So that shouldn't be as much of a concern. I don't know if there's really one that's worse than the other. I mean, because there's some really bad bacteria that can kill you, and there's some really, relatively benign bacteria that won't do much to hurt you. Versus, the virus is the same way. I mean, the cold virus won't necessarily kill you, but AIDS virus will. So there's really no way for me to say one's worse than the other. Survival and how you transmit it definitely plays a role in whether, what type, again, depending on what type of virus, what type of bacteria, how it gets transmitted also. Because you're not feeling well right now, and so say you coughed and you didn't cover your mouth, and there's air circulating in here. I can hear it. I can feel it blowing on me. If you cough and you have a virus right now that's causing your cough, and that virus blows into my air passage, or my space, we'll call it, mm-hmm. and I breathe it in, or in either my mouth or my nose, or it just happens to get on the edge of my sinus passages, I've now been basically inoculated with that virus. So if you don't like me, just go ahead and cough in my no. But I'm trying to let people understand this. This is a really cool video that the FAA did, and it's just like a cartoon type of a thing, but it shows the effect of what happens when a person sneezes on a plane and doesn't cover their mouth. It shows the disbursement of the stuff that came out of them from sneezing and how far it really will go on a plane. So it really depends on, and that's the most thing I get concerned with regards to travel. I was just in Washington, D.C. I was on the Metro. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's their subway, basically. And even on the Metro, or if you're getting onto a bus, or so it's not just planes. It's planes, trains, buses, anything with a bunch of people at work. Anybody coughs, sneezes around you, if you happen to inhale that and they are really sick, there's a good chance you can get sick.
Well, before we look at some of the materials that you've brought, how does one protect themselves from travel-induced sickness?
You mean
can you?
Well, no, you definitely can. I mean, I feel like I'm the walking testimony of that. And I'll start out with a few things. First thing is I make sure I wash my hands a lot. I mean, that's a big thing. Everybody's addicted to hand sanitizer. We now know that the alcohol-free hand sanitizers are leading to antibiotic resistance, which I think we've talked about,
mm-hmm.
A year or so ago. That's an evil thing. It's the chemical they use is actually a toxin. I don't want to get into the depth of all of that, but washing your hands, in warm soapy water is something I do all the time. Like we high-fived earlier. I'm gonna make sure before I leave here, I'm go wash my hands because, I don't know. I mean, you're an awesome guy, but I don't know how, what you've been doing with, you might have coughed into your hands, and I don't know that.
I will before this program ends. And
I'm trying to talk as much as I can. I'm trying to help out.
Reach over and touch.
That's okay. You can touch my clothes. I don't care. It's not going to hurt me. I'm not afraid.
Tell me, what's this we have here?
Well, I've got some supplements, but I want to finish that one question if we're cool. All right, because I said washing my hands is really critical. What can we? And that doesn't cost you any money, really. All right, wherever you go, wash your hands. The second thing is really watch what you eat. The more foods you consume that are sugar, or convert to sugar, so the starchy, chippy, potato, rice, that kind of stuff. Sugar makes your immune system weaker. So, and that's why a lot of people get sick around trick or treat, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day. Those are main times of the year when we're consuming a lot more desserts, sugar, candy, that kind of thing. And sugar will decrease the immune cell production by your body, and it also makes the immune cells that are already produced sort of numb to their effectiveness. So those are two really critical, other than the supplement stuff we're going to talk about now, which are critical to me, whether I'm on the road or not. Even this summer when I didn't travel for 3 months, I still took my supplements because I'm still in the public. I still go to the grocery store. So this isn't just for, there's a lot of people that are watching right now that aren't going to travel over the holidays. I get that. And so this isn't just for people that are going to step on an airplane. This is for you, something that you could do. The three things I'm going to mention are things that we can do to help not get sick all year long, is the way I preach it. Okay, again, you've got to eat right and get your rest and all that stuff too, but these will go a long way at keeping you healthy, regardless of whether you're going to travel or not this winter. Okay.
Well, I had not traveled at all. I have.
You're not going to blame this on your wife, are you?
No, I'm going to blame it on you.
Because I was late.
Because you were late with this program. And but anyway, let's talk about it.
Okay, cool. All right, so I've got 2 supplements and a water bottle. I'm going to start down here by me.
Okay.
This is a medicinal mushroom ingredient. So if they can zoom in on the label, the name of the ingredient is AHCC. So if you go to your local health food store, even pharmacies, that's the name of the ingredient. So it could be in the store brand, or they might have 4 or 5 other brands of it, but that's the name of the ingredient. AHCC is one of those things that helps support the activity of your immune system. So the saying is, for anybody that's ever had or knew what a well was like, the pump for water, if you haven't used that well in a long time, you have to prime the well. I don't know if you ever remember that or not.
I mean,
okay. Because I know you're younger than me. No, so you had to prime the well. You had to get it so it was ready to go when you really needed it. What AHCC does is it primes your immune system. It gets it ready so that when you do come in contact, and you're going to come in contact with a virus, a bacteria, or something that could lead to getting you sick, your immune system's more prone to act and be ready. And then for those people who are concerned about the flu season, I'm going to throw one more thing. And again, it doesn't matter, bacteria, virus, we're talking about your immune system, but one added benefit of AHCC for people that have gotten the flu shot this year, there was a study done and published last year that showed that people who took AHCC and got the flu shot did much better than the people who just got a flu shot alone. So if you're looking for that added benefit, this is something. Again, that's the name of the ingredient. So you find it in the store. It says AHCC. I had Vitamin Shop brand in my home. In this area, there's a Whole Foods. They probably have it. So you in some pharmacies, you might have to call and ask them.
Sure.
Okay.
It's interesting. You just indicted yourself. This is how I know it's your fault that I'm not feeling well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How did I indict myself?
I had my flu shot.
Oh.
But if you'd been here earlier, you'd have told me about the HCC, and then I'd be feeling much better. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I just want
guilty as charged. I know. I got you. I will make sure that I'm here
on time next time.
Come in on time next time. Exactly. What Sunday will it be?
So, and what's the other?
All right, so the next thing is a probiotic. It's called InSync. And this is actually what I use. So I brought, these are things that I carry in my carry-on, my backpack, and then I have these also in my supplement part of my kitchen. So I have two separate areas. But we know that taking care of your digestive system is important for taking care of your immune system. And taking a probiotic is part of that. The reason I like InSync is that not all probiotics are created equal. Probiotics are friendly bacteria, so even though I'm using the word bacteria and people are like, well, bacteria make me sick, that's not what happens here. What happens with probiotics is that they actually support your immune system and even your digestive system. So with travel, a lot of people worry about constipation, they worry about traveler's diarrhea. Mm-hmm. You would take something like InSync so that you can hopefully prevent those things from happening. That's the idea here. Well, taking InSync or a probiotic on a regular basis will go a long way. Now, I was saying InSync's a little different than a lot of the probiotics, and that's why I like it. It uses a tableting technology called GI Guard, and I don't know if they're going to zoom in on. It's probably on the label, but mm-hmm. GI Guard is a special type of tablet that's sort of is specific to InSync. That tablet is designed to not dissolve in your stomach. It's designed to dissolve in your small intestine. Why is that so important? Well, the way we were created was to have stomach acid, not just for digesting our food. We were created to have stomach acid to kill foreign bacteria, viruses, parasites, yeast, fungus, whatever might be in or on our food. Those things that might make us sick. Well, since this is a bacteria, even though it's a good one, what happens with your body, the stomach acid, if you're taking a capsule form of it or you're taking a powder, a lot of it's going to be destroyed. That product is going to be destroyed by your stomach acid. GI Guard doesn't dissolve until it gets to your small intestine. It's kind of a cool technology. The technology came originally out of the pharmaceutical industry. They were trying to, certain medications become deactivated if they're exposed to stomach acid. So this is a similar technology that came from, and it's also a blend of different strains of good bacteria. So it sort of encompasses, it's like a multi-pronged approach, I guess we could say.
You're talking about bacteria and you're talking about
probiotics.
Right. Is that one and the same?
Yeah, I'm using the word interchangeable. I have words interchangeably. So a probiotic. All right. So there's different kinds of bacteria that we get exposed to. Probiotics, pro meaning life. So these are life-giving bacteria. They're friendly bacteria that are found in your small and large intestine, and they're mainly responsible for helping finish off the digestion and the health of your small and large intestine. That's their main real responsibility. Then we have what we call pathogenic bacteria. Pathogens are disease-causing bacteria. So there's a difference, and we know in natural medicine and even modern medicine now that if we have a healthy amount of good bacteria or these probiotics, life-giving bacteria in your small and large intestine, they will actually suppress the bad bacteria that are more likely to lead to causing you to have some sort of a health challenge. Okay, that was a good question. Thank you.
Now, well, and
the water bottle.
I didn't know it's.
Yeah, it's a water bottle. Yeah, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh, but it's a fancy one, and I really don't. I bought it to use as a thing on TV, and I really don't like it. It's a big one. I need to get a smaller one. But you can even just get a plastic water bottle. So whatever, it doesn't matter. But that is a water bottle, and you can if you're flying, you can't fill that up and take it through security. But what you can do is get through security with it empty, and I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, and then you can fill it up on the other side. And why water is so important is, especially on flying, the air is very dry, mm-hmm. so you'll dehydrate really quickly. And if we dehydrate your sinus passages, which are up in here, and your mouth, when they dry out, then anything you get exposed to, bacteria or virus, is not going to get flushed away. When we have that runny nose or that drainage down the back of our throat, a lot of people think that's not a good thing. Well, I mean, it doesn't feel good, and mm-hmm. It's not so nice when you have to constantly wipe your nose and things like that. But that drainage that you're having because right now there's something on your sinuses or in your throat that your body's saying this should not be here, and it's trying to either flush it out of your nose or down the back of your throat so stomach acid can kill it. So we need to drink plenty of water while we're traveling so that we're less likely to get sick.
So,
and that doesn't cost you much either. You don't have to buy a fancy water bottle like me.
I was going to ask you, but you answered the question.
Oh.
How do you get that bottle through security?
As long as that bad boy is empty. Empty, yeah. So, and it's funny because I even had that, in my head, I had that question because the first time I did it, because normally I just buy a water bottle, like when I go through security. But I've been doing a lot of TV, and I wanted something that was, looked a little bit different, a little nicer on, with television. So I bought that. And it's hilarious because the first time I went through security, I'm like, oh man, they're just, I'm going to get, this and this and, nothing. I've flown with it probably 10 times at least, and they've never had a problem with it whatsoever. And I almost wanted to ask them, like, can you guys like see through that? Because it's metal, I don't know. And
I was thinking, and it looks just strange enough.
Oh, I know.
To draw attention.
Exactly, and it's funny because when I bought it at my local grocery store. That's I was looking for just like something that was colorful and like I was explaining. And when I bought it, I'm like, yeah, this is going to light up on that X-ray machine. And so I'm blown away. Actually, either that or TSA is just getting soft. I don't know, and I don't want to paint that picture to people. I mean, I feel very safe when I travel.
Oh, you might be very safe, but they are getting a little soft.
I think, actually, I really think that's happening in some airports.
Let's
boy,
talk
I'm going to get in trouble now.
Oh, boy. They will show you.
Yeah, right, exactly. What's that guy's name?
Yeah. Immune boosters.
Mm-hmm.
Here again, you're traveling, you're going here, there, and everywhere.
Okay.
And you talked about priming the well.
Mm-hmm.
Are there many immune boosters, and if so, do you have favorites?
Yeah.
And if so, why?
All right. So immune boosters. All right. So first of all, what immune boosters do is they hyperstimulate your immune system. You never want to do that to your body. You never want to stimulate your body to do anything. You just want to support its natural function. That's why I like something like AHCC. That's why I like probiotics, is supporting the natural function of the body. Whereas an immune booster is what I call a pay me later thing.
Okay.
This is pay me now, which means prevention. Pay me later is what you need right now. Like when we were talking before we started today, I said, well, I wish I'd have known. I had stuff at home that I take, and what I use at home is a product called Asparitox. Esberitox, Asparitox. It combines echinacea and 2 other ingredients together. So a lot of people have heard of echinacea. So echinacea would be another thing that I would consider using. Echinacea is one of those things that it works if you have it already. It's not a preventative. It's one of those things you want to have. So it would be something I'd say, you know what, you're not feeling well, you want to stimulate your immune system, you want to fire it up, you want it to produce more immune cells right now. That takes at least 3 days to work, and it works in a completely different mechanism, whereas Asparitox, echinacea, there's a ton of different things that you can buy at your health food store, but echinacea is probably the easiest, least expensive to find. I mean, you could go to your local, Publix, you could go to, Walgreens, CVS, everybody has echinacea, I think, in their stores.
As long as the clerk will
know what you're talking about, right? Yeah. They're like, excuse me, did you sneeze? What? Yeah. I love when people try to spell it because it's not really spelled and I'm not a good speller in my head, but Asparitox is really cool, and the reason I have it is I have kids, and they're chewable. They taste almost like a sweet tart. So for the kids that you're not worried about them chewing in a tablet, they're real small. They're probably smaller than an aspirin tablet. They're probably half the size of a Tylenol, but they're chewable. And depending on the age of your child, you could have them chew 1-3 times a day. For you and I, it would be 3 tablets 3 times a day. But I keep that at my house just because my daughter's not doing this stuff. I mean, she should be, but she lives in 2 households. She's regretfully the product of divorce, so she's got half the time with me, half the time with her mother. So with her, I always keep a little box of Asparitox around because if she gets sick, I need to have something there so that instead of being sick for 10 days, she might be only sick for 3 or 4.
From time to time when you've come, even though we tell them, our viewing audience, someone surely will email me and say,
Uh-oh.
Herbal Pharmacist, but he is a regular pharmacist. Can you talk about the difference?
Yeah, I love talking about that. So my background really started out in traditional pharmacy. I went to pharmacy school in South Carolina. 2 years after, I opened my own drugstore, started it from square one. So I come from a traditional pharmacy background. Somewhere in the mix of me getting along with it, I added a whole line of supplements, vitamins, minerals, herbs, and such to my pharmacy, and started learning about them. And one thing led to another. Started teaching classes in my store, which led me to teaching classes in a community college. And all they wanted was a course on herbs. Mm-hmm. They didn't want all the vitamin mineral stuff. And so I got asked as a last-minute guest to be on a radio program, and the guy loved what I was doing. He said, "So what should we call you?" It's like, you're a pharmacist, but you're doing this natural thing. And I just blurted out, Herbal Pharmacist. Mm-hmm. And then I thought it was kind of a cool thing. So I'm the only one, because I trademarked it, so no one else is the Herbal Pharmacist. And
can't be.
Can't be. I will take them down.
Okay.
No, but I'm beyond herbs, but that's what it is. And I did get a naturopath degree as well, which is more of a doctor of natural medicine. Mm-hmm. I'm not licensed in that. I don't see people as patients. I really did it more to just test my education that I already had. So, and I will help people out once in a while, but I really like doing the radio, TV, writing, speaking stuff instead.
Speaking of radio, TV, writing,
uh-oh,
how does one get in touch with you?
Oh, okay.
You tell us, and we'll pop it up on the screen too.
Awesome.
As we go.
Well, I would recommend people just go to my website, which is herbalpharmacist.com. There they can connect to me, Facebook, Twitter. I really encourage people, and actually it's funny, because I always like when I come here, because I do get several emails from people that watch the program. And I encourage you, if you're gonna email me, go to my website, Herbal Pharmacist, click Contact Us. I'm the only person who reads your email, so you don't have to worry about what you're sharing. And I get back pretty quick. But it doesn't even have to be about today's topic. That's the other thing. I don't, if you don't have a travel or an immune question, but you've got diabetes or high blood pressure, I'll help you out. I'll do what I can. I'm not going to give you a consultation, but at least give you some guidance as to where to go.
Well, and that's the end of the story.
Oh, no.
And I didn't cough, not one time.
Well, I tried to do more talking to help you out.
Thank you.
Because I love you.